News Nation's senior national correspondent, Bryan Entin. He's been following the story, obviously, from the very beginning. He spent more time outside that house than I think anybody on this story. So this was a surprise. I mean, you just heard Caitlin and me talking about how surprised we both were. I'm sure you were as well. Any idea why now? Why so sudden? I mean, instantaneous. That the announcement to the families, the announcement to the press, the defense is in the same day for 2 days, and then within 2 weeks it's down.
Well, first of all, I think they got about a 2.5 hour heads up, the family. It was about 2.5 hours. They got the call, and then the press release went out where we all found out that there is an official date of December 28th. The timing is interesting. I mean, just a couple of days after Christmas sort of makes sense because students won't be there on campus. But I also wonder if they're thinking right between Christmas and New Year's, is that a time when, the media will stay away, when everybody's busy, when they can kind of try to do this under the radar? Perhaps that's the reason they picked that time. But actually, I just want to remind you, the house is not in the middle of the campus. It's in a neighborhood right next to the campus. So I get that it's upsetting for the students and it's a distraction and it's hard to look at, but it's not like they have to walk by it every day in the middle of the school. I still just don't understand why take the chance. Why not just leave the house up until the trial, like we've seen in other situations, like we saw in Parkland and all sorts of other cases we've covered. I don't understand. I just don't get the rush.
Yeah, it's hard one. I mean, and I remember when you gave us the tour and you showed us when you stood in front of the house facing us and then walked, opposite to the camera down the hill, you literally within 50 steps were at the fraternity houses and Ethan's fraternity house specifically. So while they don't have to walk by, I suppose they could look up and see it there. But I'm with you. It's always been, I'm surprised it's such a battle. I don't think the university wants to make money off the property. I don't think that's what this is about. But it sure is sort of a sad battle that this family's had to go through. The families have had to go through, and not all of them agree. The Chapins, they haven't joined the fray in terms of families that want to keep that house standing. They've sort of not weighed in either way, publicly, that is. But certainly the Gonzalez.
But it's interesting that the Chapins want it down. Quite interesting. On top of it, they're choosing, in their mind, when there's less traffic. There's summertime, and summertime has less traffic. Why can't they wait till summer? Nobody likes to go to school during summer break. Why does it have to be right after Christmas and right before Happy New Year? Why does it have to be at all?
This family have led the way with other family members saying, just keep it there. What's the rush? What if there's a mistake in some, like here we are. Brian, how many times have we seen FBI or police or members of the defense team coming back in the last couple of months to, I don't know, do some extra work they needed to do?
Yeah, and who knows, they might need to do something else that they haven't thought of yet, or maybe the jury will want to see the house. Steve Gonzalez, Kaylee's dad, made a good point to me last month when I spoke to him about this. He said, if this stays in the county and they don't move it, and they're trying to find a juror who is unbiased, it could very well be a farmer. And to him, a farmer isn't going to want to see a 3D image or a computer view. They're going to want to go out and see the house for themselves. And they're saying, well, the inside is different and it's been, there's been chemicals and you can't walk around. But even the outside, actually, maybe they're going to want to stand on the street and say, what could you actually see from that window? Or what could you see from the front to the back of the house? Or what exactly does the road look like in that area compared to the house?
And nothing is better than physical contact. So he is 100% correct. What if they have to go back and it's not going to be there? What if Bryan Kohberger does get off and gets exonerated and they could easily had found better evidence to put him back in his position, or evidence to find the real perpetrators? I'm telling you that they're hiding something, and they don't want us to see it. And I really truly believe it's huge. And the best time to take this down is on a major holiday where everybody wants to be with their families. Nobody's going to not want to be with their families at this time. That is also why they're not choosing summer. There's no major holidays in the summer. And I bet you they'll have that ground perfectly leveled, filled in, so we will never see what was under that house. Why did the owner quickly give the house to the school? Well, let me tell you why. Because at the point where the owner was still an owner, was still responsible for the individuals within that house, the courts could have seized the house. Any secrets within it, the courts could have found it. Now, due to the fact that they released it to an entity that has plenty of money and basically has its own laws, nobody can penetrate it. The judge can't even, he has to have a really good cause to try and stop the university, $1 billion university, from tearing this down. The owner knew what they were doing. They've been swapping this house back and forth anyway to evade taxes. And you can definitely find that proof. I don't need to show those receipts. Millionaires do it all the time. And we have found it a while ago. If you want to re-find it, get in touch with Bubbly Waters, because she was the first that I know of that found that information. And she can also show you how to find it too. I will always mention her because she was my friend, and she was a great person and always helped me with my channel. So I'm always going to mention her. And I worked hard to find out if there was a tunnel under this house. I set out to get the proof. I have gotten the proof. I may not have been able to follow through because of how hot it was down there. But I never thought that they were actually going to tear down the house in between Christmas and New Year's. I thought I had time. Apparently the universe doesn't want me there. Doesn't want me to find out about it. And it could be all good reason. Now I have to sit back and I gotta hope that somebody with a really fucking good lens gets some really good views and gets those pictures that I'm gonna need, or film that I'm gonna need. Because regardless of my footage, somebody could say it's anybody's basement. Okay? And regardless of me doing the 360 model, the house and the property ain't there no more. The connection to the house would be gone. So that hard work right out the window.
They may not even have
Brian,
to go inside.
Let me ask you that, because you have a very unique ability to say, I saw the digital replications of the house before I got there, before you landed for the first time in Idaho and went to that property. How different was it when you got there? What surprised you in person? Because you walked around the back, like you were taken all around the house, which other reporters haven't done. So you tell me how different it would be looking at a digital model compared to showing up there for the first time and getting the real feel.
It's a very unique house. It's the 3 stories. Part of it is into the ground. It's a very unique driveway. I mean, you see in the video here, it's this steep driveway that goes up around the house. There's an apartment complex on one side. I mean, when I went, my first thought was like, it's just an interesting sort of little corner of this street that you can't really visualize unless you're there. And again, they may have questions. The jury may have questions about the outside. What could you hear if you were on one side of the house? Could you hear things? I mean, who knows what they might want to feel out there? That's why I don't understand it. I don't understand the rush.